The Ignorance Podcast. Back again for another episode this week. This time we're throwing it up a little bit. We're changing it around. Harry, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going? Welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on. It's been a while since we had just the two of us on an episode. It's been a while.
I don't think
actually.
we ever have.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah,
we did it once.
We have?
Yeah, we did. We talked about comedy and your whole creative, your whole creativity style and like how you get into your mindset and everything. We just basically went through that structure.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember. Well, yeah, it's gonna be more of the two of us after you kick Dave and Chris off the podcast. So
Yeah. No, things happen. People weren't able to come in tonight. And instead of, I'm happy that you were able to spend a little bit of time and join me for it. Should be a good episode. Let's see what we can give to the people. This week it might be audio only. I have to see how we can do it. I'm trying to record. Zoom wouldn't let me record, so I'm recording the actual screen and I'm recording the audio separately, and I want to see if I can just mash them together in iMovie later on. So we'll see what happens. Should be interesting. So let's get right into it. You said you have a really busy weekend this weekend.
oh yeah, I have a really busy busy weekend. It's not as busy as it was a couple of weeks ago, but I'm doing a lot of football commentary again, and tomorrow I'm lined up to do play-by-play commentary for the German Bowl, which is the German Super Bowl. There's really no other way to describe it better. Of course, the media circus isn't as big. I mean, there's no media circus as big as the Super Bowl's media circus,
No.
but it's going to be a packed stadium, soccer stadium in Frankfurt. I think they sold it out with, of course, bearing in mind the COVID capacities.
It's in Frankfurt this year.
It's in Frankfurt. Yeah, it's always been in Frankfurt.
Really? For some
that
reason,
also-
I thought it was in Berlin or something.
They had it in Berlin, I think, once or twice.
Okay.
But it draws a lot of controversy to have it in Frankfurt for whatever reason. But like all the people that pull the strings are native to Frankfurt, so that's why they keep having it there. I mean, I don't know if it makes sense or not. I don't really care. Frankfurt, Berlin, it's a commute either way. So yeah.
Either way, yeah. But Berlin's a little bit better for you.
Well, Berlin's more fun than Frankfurt is, I think.
Well, but I mean, like as far as commute wise, it's closer for you.
No, it's actually pretty much the same distance.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's really like just a 10K
you're
difference.
northwest.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that I keep forgetting that because it always throws me for a loop because you do air traffic control for Berlin,
Right.
but you're off site. Like you guys are completely off site, and that's what keeps throwing me off.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you got an NFL game this weekend?
No, I don't. I don't actually. This week I'm completely out of the DAZN loop. Also, I don't think that I'm on the roster for October. They like to rotate their commentators because
Okay, keep
like all their
people fresh.
freelancers wants to get a shot. Yeah.
Cool.
And I mean it is shift work for Germans. A lot of people work like regular jobs and they have to show up on Mondays. So
Yeah.
that's why they like to rotate.
Yeah, it's just like a side job, a mini job, what they call it here.
Right.
That's cool though. Well, that's cool. Are you gonna after the game then tomorrow? Are you sticking around in town?
No, well, I am driving to Gießen because it's also my mom's birthday.
Yeah, that's why I figured I was gonna see if you're gonna go see your mom.
Yeah, but other than that, I'm not sure if I have to work again on Monday. I might. Well, if I have to work on Monday, then I'm only like staying for Sunday afternoon. But hey, I've been putting a lot of miles on German autobahns, man. I've been all over them.
I bet, man. I bet. This time of year, I mean, seasons are ending. Everybody wants to get you in to do commentary or in-house stuff. So you're very busy. That's cool.
Yeah,
though.
100. Hey, I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. You know what? And that's the thing, man. Like, that's one thing that what I really, really, really like about you is like you have a really good job, but it's very stressful. A lot of people like if you think, oh, okay, air traffic controller, cool, man. But if you really research and go into it, it's a very stressful job and it's hard on your mentality, like on your psyche. But what you do, you have your stand up, you have your commentating, you take all your passions and you actually do them. Instead of somebody's like, oh man, I'd love to do this, you go and do it, which is really cool. It's very inspiring, man. It's definitely,
Hey, thanks,
it's
man.
cool.
Appreciate it.
I like it a lot. And yeah, it's cool. And it's also great to see like, people that you meet and become friends with do what they like to do and actually are successful with it. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty empowering, man. It's good shit. I like it. You're definitely doing good. Keep it going.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. But I don't want this whole episode to be just sucking your dick. So
I was getting ready to say, like, do you know that I only have a week to live or something? What's going on?
well, your girlfriend did text us.
Fuck.
No. There was actually a few things I want to talk about, and it's actually perfect that you're the guest this week because of you being half German, half American. However, you lived your entire life here, correct?
Pretty much most of it, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, were you like for longer I mean, obviously, like you go to the States to visit and you do travel and stuff like that, but did you live there for like a long period of time?
I lived there for the first 5 years of my life, but
Oh,
I mean, it's the
really? I
first
didn't know
5 years
that.
of my life, so I don't really know that
Yeah.
much about it anymore.
Okay. I didn't know that. But one of those topics that we'll talk about tonight that involves, it's something that can touch strings on both sides of you. But the first thing, are you familiar with Mormons?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Well, not personally, but I know of
right.
them.
Yes. Okay. Well, they have some very weird, I guess all religions do when it comes to premarital sex, but Mormons, it is an absolute no-go. Like that is a no-go. All right. So
Okay.
there's a couple things, and I heard about this. This is how they get around it. I went to Catholic schools. A lot of girls did anal.
Getting ready to say that's one option.
That is one option. However, the Mormons, they're geniuses. Okay. There's something called soaking.
Soaking.
Soaking. Like
What's
soaking.
soaking?
Soaking. Getting wet, soaking wet, right?
Okay, yeah.
Well, however, or like if you take something and you place it in something wet, it soaks up the moisture or whatever, right? And I'm painting a pretty gross picture here. But what they like to
I
do,
kind of see where this is going.
they
Okay.
So one of the things that they do is it's called soaking. So you enter, and that's it. You just sit there, and you soak it all in.
But isn't that technically sex?
No, because you're not ejaculating.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. If that's not sex,
Yeah. Technically, you could pull out. No, there's no thrusting. There's no thrusting and no ejaculation. Therefore, it doesn't count, right? But you would think that initial slide, that's a thrust.
I call it. I mean, if it's in, it's sex in my book.
Yeah, even if it's just a tip,
Yeah.
it counts. You know what I mean? Like
It counts. It definitely counts.
It definitely has to, because that's the only way I have the numbers that I do. But there's another one, and this one is genius. It's called jump-humping. And the thing with jump-humping is, imagine so I'm a Mormon, right? We'll pretend. And I'm like,
Right.
yo, I need to soak with this girl. I need you to come over though while I'm soaking, and I need you to jump on my bed. Like just jump on the bed. Crazy, right? So like you're sitting there bouncing on it like it's a fucking trampoline. And with that motion, you're having sex, but you're not having sex. You're making me have sex. I'm not doing it. So it doesn't count. Like I heard this shit and it blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is some of the craziest shit I've ever heard. And like you think back to when you were a teenager, like all the tricks and tips that you tried to do and play. Like these motherfuckers are genius. You know what I mean? Like
They are.
baby, let me go balls deep. As long as I don't move, it doesn't count. You know what I mean? Like that's dude, at that age, I doubt like if you're going all the way in, you're gonna finish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
But
crazy.
that's almost German bureaucracy level genius. Like, let's define when sex starts, and
Exactly.
anything that you do before that moment technically is not sex. But what I want to know is, how do you keep the guy who jumps on your bed from beating off on your?
I don't think you can stop that at all, man. You just got to go with it. Let it happen.
Because to me that's like, I mean, it's there. I can understand why people can enjoy that, right?
Now, would that be like a Mormon MMF threesome? Like technically it is.
But like you're a genius too. You're like half Mormon. Like, because what if one guy soaks a girl and they take turns jumping?
Yeah.
Then that's definitely not a gangbang, and it's definitely not a threesome.
No, dude, you're onto something.
But how does she explain it to her God or whatever? Because I mean, it's widened after that. I mean,
Yeah, the hymen's
most likely.
broken. Yeah. You've been
Yeah,
deflowered.
so technically, I mean, I don't know.
I don't
That's
know
like,
either, but I think we got to go to Utah, man.
we definitely got to go to Utah. And like if I go to the doctor because I again stuck my dick in a socket or something, and and he's like, "Did you fuck the socket?" I'm like, "No, I just soaked it." See, that's what I'm
funny.
saying. If your dick is in something, then you fucked it. Like, if you just even just for scientific moments, like, if I'm sure everybody has tried to slide his dick in a vacuum cleaner. So I'm sorry, even if you just did it to see if it fits, you fucked the vacuum cleaner,
Yeah, definitely.
right?
Yeah.
So, oh, this Mormons, man, soaking. I gotta remember that. Jump
So
humping.
while we're talking, like like I heard it, it was on a different podcast. I had to pause it, and then I went to Google. The next thing you know, like I'm at work and I'm down a 2.5 hour long rabbit hole searching soaking and jump humping, and it blew my mind. Like this is legit. People like this is a major concern within the Mormon community.
Hmm. But also, I've had sex like that, and I didn't even know that I didn't even know that I was soaking. I thought I was just having really bad sex.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like you go back to like you were like, I don't know, 15, 16, 17 years old. It's like, oh, come on, baby. Before I go home, let me just, let me slide it in. I won't even
Mhm.
move, and I'll just beat off later. And like, that's what we were doing. Like you know what I mean? Technically,
Yeah,
like this is like something that's been passed down from generation to generation biologically without even knowing it. But the Mormons
right.
gave it a name. And it is like it is the most perfect name. Like when I hear soaking, I just think of like taking a sock and putting it in a sink full of water and just letting it soak up. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. And it cracked me up. While we're talking about weird stuff, you don't need to incriminate yourself, but what's the weirdest way that you would ever ingest something? Like, say, nicotine.
The weirdest way that I would ingest something. Um, I never did it, but I could imagine um sticking a nicotine gum in your anus is pretty much up there.
Dude, you hit it. So, there's in Denmark, in Denmark, this is this is like a major concern for people, and it's spreading all over the place. Not nicotine gum, but the nicotine patches, right? Or
Oh my God.
there's these things called snus. It's like
Hmm.
chewing tobacco, but like in like a little tea bag that you just put in your upper lip and you put it there. You can swallow it, you can do whatever, you don't have to spit, and that it's called snus, right?
Hmm.
Camel even makes snus pouches like it for our American listeners. If you hear snus, you know what I'm talking about. Well, they take those or the actual nicotine patches. Like if you want to quit smoking, you put a patch on your arm or your anywhere on your body and you absorb the nicotine. They're putting them not only in their buttholes, their foreskin.
Huh?
Yeah. Like imagine pulling your foreskin back and just tucking one of them bastards up underneath there and going on about your day.
That's so anti-Semitic.
Oh my god, like I don't know, man. I was down in some crazy rabbit holes this week. I came across some really fucked up stuff. Like really
I'd
fucked
really like
up.
to, man, I'd like to read your Google search history just once.
You know what? And that's another thing. I was just talking about this the other day with one of my friends. The problem with Google searches nowadays, it doesn't matter how many times you clear your search history, whatever you do, Google they're logging all of that. You know what I mean? Like that's all
Hmm.
logged. So you can clear it. That's only protects you from say like a spouse or somebody else. But as far as like an actual governmental level or whatever, no, you're not scrubbing anything. It's there.
Hmm.
So, and I was telling my wife the other day, I'm like, yo, I was like, if somebody ever looked at my Google search, they would be horrified. She and like, for example, soaking, jump humping, nicotine patches in your foreskin. Like who? And this is like just in the last like 72 hours. You know what I mean? So
So what if they find you like floating in the lawn butt naked? Then like that completely paints a false picture of how you actually died.
yeah,
Like,
because they
you'd
would
be
go
like,
and be like, "Hey, man, you know what? In September, in early October 2021, this is what he was looking at. No fucking wonder he's floating in the lawn."
yeah. Like, but did you ever wonder, like, how with those serial killer cases or those domestic violence cases where somebody ends up getting killed, um, that they find out and like somehow make public what these people Googled? Isn't that like part of the investigation or something?
Yeah,
how do we
it
find
become
out about
it
this?
becomes public record. I think at that point.
But that's an American thing, right?
I think it's a everywhere thing except for Germany. Germany is the only country that has that fuck data security.
Hmm. It totally makes sense because like one case that I went down a rabbit hole about is this whole Chris Watts case. I don't know if you heard about him.
No.
It's an American guy from Colorado, who actually had a picture perfect family. At least that's what it looked like. And his wife was very active on social media, doing multi-level marketing with all kinds of stuff. And he wound up choking her, driving his kids out to an oil rig that he worked at, smothering them at the oil rig and dumping them into an oil tank. Like, yeah, and nobody really suspected him at first, but it took him like 72 hours
That's
to lock him up.
crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is. Look it up, man. It's definitely um they have a documentary on Netflix also.
Yeah. Like a lot
Yeah,
of
and this
that.
guy.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry. And this guy like turned out having a mistress and everything, and Like she Googled him. They made her like the side chicks public Google records public also, and she wound up Googling that family in 2017 or something the first time. At least that's what they allege. And all this stuff happened in 2018.
Oh wow.
So now they're like, okay, what role does she play
Yeah.
influencing him to kill his entire family? So that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's tough if you just imagine that
Yeah,
one
man.
of these days, like if you get like caught up in some stupid accident or whatever. I mean, killing your family obviously is not an accident, but
No.
like if some fucked up shit happens to you and they look at your Google search history, you can construct a case, man.
Yeah. It's crazy. That is it's and that's technology nowadays, man. Like, back in the day, like you could have a serial killer go on for years, and just
Yeah.
breadcrumbing it the whole way. Like here, if you make like the dumbest mistake, you are caught with a quickness. And that's, I mean, it's modern technology. It's amazing. But if you're trying to do bad or sketchy shit, it's awful. Like you live in like the worst times, I guess you could say. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. There's no other way. Like I don't know. It's hard for me to, I guess, explain it.
Yeah, but I'd like to not acknowledge that I really like the fact that you have so much sympathy for criminals. Because somebody has to. Somebody has to.
That's. I just want to know that my tax dollars are being well paid. You know. No. But it's crazy. No, and it's funny. I kind of like how we're segueing like into the next thing that I want to talk about.
Okay.
So earlier I mentioned something. I mentioned that you're half German, you're half American, right?
Right.
Everybody knows that the Holocaust was terrible, and that World War II was terrible. I already see
Hmm.
you smirking. Um,
Because I'm not smirking at the Holocaust. I'm definitely not smirking at the Holocaust. I just want to know where you're going with this.
Man, I wish Chris
Because
would have been on tonight.
well, yeah, but I mean the way you started the sentence, you set it up the way that I expect you to say but.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's that's kind of what I'm going for. Um, so again, it's bad. It's really, 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 really bad.
Hmm.
Um, however, no, not really a however. Well, kinda. It is. It's for me. It's kind of a whatever. Like everybody knows, it is awful history. What happened to the Jews and everything. What in all of what happened here, uh, back in those times. Absolutely awful. I don't condone it. I'm not a fan of it. Just want to set that straight. I know we make a lot of jokes, especially with our buddy Chris, who absolutely like this is gonna fucking blow everybody's brains. He's not even Jewish. We just fuck with him. Um, but there is, they keep going after people from who had anything to do with it, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
I agree with it to a certain extent,
Hmm.
right? And I know
Hmm.
that kind of sounds fucked up and controversial. But last week, a 96-year-old secretary, a young girl who was, I think, she was 17 or 18 years old at the time, was at she was a secretary at a concentration camp, but she didn't have anything
Hmm.
to do with what was going on there. Probably didn't even know what was going on there, other than people were being held there, right? Um, and was put on trial at 96 years old. Like, isn't there? I know, like in America, there's a statute of limitations with certain
Hmm.
things. I get it. Again, the Holocaust, awful, but a 96-year-old girl who had nothing to do with it. Like, is that worth the waste of resources?
Well, um,
Like,
I,
how do you
I,
see that as somebody who is, you know, spent majority of your life here in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
You have your mother is German.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, does that? I mean, does that? How do you feel about that?
Well, number one, I think it's easy to feel sympathy for a 96-year-old woman because you grow up and you have this image of grandma or grandpa who spent their life. Yeah, they made a couple of wrong decisions, but all in all, um, there nobody ever has, or I mean, some people do, obviously, not nobody, but there's hardly an image of a really evil old person except for in fairy tales.
Right.
So I understand that. And I also understand how one could construct the case or argue the case that she didn't know what she was doing. But one of the very reasons that murder doesn't fall under the statute of limitations in Germany is so that you can still prosecute people who were
Right.
part of the Holocaust. That's like
Well,
one of the very
it's like
reasons
that
that
in
they
America as well.
it is
Yeah.
okay because I know they changed that after having to reinstate former Nazis, proven Nazis,
Yep.
into the judicial system because they didn't have anybody else to do it.
Yep.
So, um, is it is it fair to prosecute somebody? Well, it's the law. They still can do it, and if that's what that law is for, then I think they should do that because here's the thing. One thing that's been debunked is the counter argument that you always get. Well, these people had the choice: either we take part in the Holocaust or we get killed ourselves. That never was the case.
Really?
Um,
I thought that was well documented. That was the case. There was a
no, no,
guy.
you.
There was actually, dude lived on the street of my stepdad in Parma,
Mhm,
Ohio. He was actually extradited at almost, I forget how old he was. He was extradited from the States to Germany, prosecuted, and died in prison here because he worked in a hall. He was actually doing bad shit. And it
mhm,
was had no choice. And that was like a lot of people were able to prove that. However, that dude was a dickbag. He was actually doing stuff. I get that. Go after those people, prosecute
mhm,
them, make them live the rest of their lives, or execute them right on spot. I don't care. Waste as
mhm,
many resources as you possibly want on those kind of people, but
mhm.
not on an 18-year-old girl who had no clue what was going on and was just a secretary. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
at 96 years old, like,
well, if she was a secretary, then she had access to papers and people talk on the hallway.
true.
Um, even though she might not have witnessed somebody getting killed personally, directly,
Yeah.
was going because the the inmates they worked in the administrative buildings as well, like cleaning them. Some even the ones that could read and write, they used them in there too. So she definitely knew that she was working in some kind of prison,
Yeah.
a kind of prison where a lot of people essentially died. Now there's a good quote that just comes to my mind. I think it's a German quote. It's like, just imagine somebody declares war and nobody goes, right? So if everybody would have just said, okay, well, let's not do that. Let's not take part in it. Let's not support it in any way, shape, or form. The Nazis would have had to go through a whole bunch of lengths just to keep the system running.
Yeah.
They maybe would have had to threaten with throwing them into prison or executing them, and that would have changed. Might not have changed the outcome in history, but it would have changed the way we can look at the people who took part.
Yeah.
Because right now, if this was the easiest way out to her, or if this was just a stepping stone to her, then I think I can argue that working in a system that kills people, that tortures people, seemed like an okay alternative to any other career options that she would have had as an 18-year-old girl.
Right.
And in that
Well,
case, I think, yeah,
in those
prosecute
war
her.
times, in that time, you didn't really have a whole lot of other options, though. You have to
Well, if
remember that too. Like in
I know.
America, that women are what drove the war effort. You know what I mean?
Hmm. True.
So technically, like I don't know. And you actually made some really good points. But when you look at it, like 96 years old, man, like, yeah, I get it. People should be punished for their thing. But however, what's when you look at it and you want to know where your tax dollars are going, because essentially we're over here, these people are being prosecuted here, and this is where it's
Hmm.
happening, right? This
Hmm.
is our money at stake. You have a 96-year-old secretary, right? Who was just a
Hmm.
secretary. And it's proven in a building. It was on the facility, however, very far away, right?
Hmm.
Or an SS guard.
I think we should prosecute them both. Um,
Okay.
Now, the thing with the 96-year-old lady is I understand the argument also that, time's just going to take care of it. Give it another 3 or 4 years, and she's going to be gone anyway. So why waste all these resources? Um, but also, she was fit and witty enough to escape the police on
Yeah.
one occasion. I don't know if you read about that. I mean, she somehow knew that they were coming.
No, I didn't know that.
Um, and yeah, she escaped her home, and went living, I don't know, with a friend or something, and they caught her there after a couple of days. But she fled the police. Um, and if she's like, if she's got enough life and fight in her to do that, then yeah,
Yeah.
I think she can stand a trial.
That's a good point. Very good point.
And
But
and when it comes to or tax money and everything, um, I don't know, man. These people are criminals
yeah, they're
in my
monsters.
mind.
They're monsters.
Um, and I think that maybe a couple of my tax dollars should be used in prosecuting people who made very poor decisions that led the long or the longest war in American history and the destabilization of entire regions. I know this is probably not I know that not a lot of people are going to agree with me on this. But I think there are certain elements of American government who made very, very poor decisions
Yes.
that should be prosecuted also,
Yes.
and they're protected.
Yep. Yeah, the whole immunity rights and everything, like how it works in the states, man, it blows my fucking mind.
Yeah.
But I had this conversation the other day with a guy at work. He's an older German guy. He's close to retirement, like born around, you know what I mean, like shortly after the war.
Mm-hmm.
So grew up with a different mentality, right? And he said it's like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, the secretary knew had to, like, maybe she knew what was going on, maybe she didn't, whatever. But if I have the option to allocate resources on those kind of people or allocate the resources on like this SS guard who's going to go, he's supposed to be on trial and will be convicted next week, according to what I read. He's 100 years old.
Mm-hmm.
100% okay with that. Yeah. Take all our, allocate all our tax dollars for that on those kind of people because those are the real fucking shit bags. Those are the people that
Mm-hmm.
were doing the awful stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because in the 1920s, in the 1930s and 40s, women didn't have the rights to do a whole lot, especially over here. So
Mm.
there was no decision making in them. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just wanted to get your standpoint on it. And I know we took a weird turn here.
Yeah. Oh, but it's interesting. I mean, like you said, there weren't a lot of career options for women at that time, except for the Holocaust, ironically. Um, so if that's one of the decisions you make, if you actively say, okay, here I am,
Yeah.
I'm ready, coach, put me in,
Yeah.
um, then hey, like, just be glad that you made it this far, but now your ass is going to jail.
Yeah. I don't know. It's it's crazy, man.
But
It's
people were
crazy.
built different back then, weren't they? I mean, just
Yeah.
imagine the longevity of some of these people, just to have them still around so that you can
Yeah.
still prosecute them.
Yeah.
They lost the war. Some of them were sent to the war. Then working in a prison system like that, I'm sure gives you sleepless nights every now and then.
Yeah.
But yet people like are living to be 100 years old and stuff.
Yep.
It's kind of unfair, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. It's they call it the greatest generation. And
mm,
I believe it. You know what I mean? Like those were it didn't matter where you were from. At that point, when you look back at those times, those were, kids that had to be men in a awful situation.
yeah,
And yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. There's no winners and wars, in my opinion. That's just my personal opinion. I know we have a lot of military listeners. We have people that are on this podcast normally that are active and former military, and I get it, but at the same time, I don't get it. You know what I mean?
right.
That's just that's just me, though.
Yeah. Well, especially with the American guys that have been sent to Afghanistan, man. I can hardly imagine how they have to feel right now, like, or the family of those of the people who got like shot up or something.
Yep.
That right now, like, people just get withdrawn. The country's still a shithole, or is a shithole again.
Yep.
There's a great documentary out there on Netflix also right now
Mm-hmm.
about which decisions ended up being wrong.
Mm-hmm.
um, but I mean, a lot of these people were down there to actually change something for the better,
Exactly, man.
and
And
that's what they were told.
yep. And that's exactly what they were told. And the thing is, like, it doesn't matter. Like I said, I wasn't military. You weren't military.
Mm.
Um, but you come from a military family.
Yeah.
I come from a military family. We have friends that were over there, even Americans and Germans. Um, and the thing that really, from somebody outside looking in, what really messes me up is the last 20 years for absolutely nothing.
Right.
You negated 20 years, and not just the lives of the American soldiers or the NATO soldiers that lost their lives, but the Afghani people and the
Oh yeah.
citizens that had nothing to do with it. You just negated everything. And
Yep.
to me, like that really pissed me off. And that really, I mean, it to me, like that's the thing when I think about that whole situation, that's what bugs me the most.
Yeah. It's them. I heard a very interesting standpoint from an American soldier. He said, look, they don't pay me to make political
No.
decisions. They don't pay me to judge if this is idea to go down there or not. They pay me to go down there to do a job. So my opinion has become, um, those people, the soldiers that got sent down there, you know, nobody sold them a dream. Of course, you told them that you're gonna help build up the country and everybody's gonna love you and that kind of shit. But in the end, not while you're doing it, obviously, but in the end, you're gonna be on the right side of history.
Yep.
So, but still, it would have been their job. It's their job regardless. When they
Exactly.
sign the papers, they know they go to a place where they might die,
Yep.
um, to fight a war that's probably unpopular. But the people who helped them, the people that they used for infrastructure reasons and everything, those people believed in democracy. They actually believed that what these people that fly in with bombs and guns and shit that ruin our country, especially ruin the infrastructure,
It's
what
to
they
help
bring
them.
is better than what we got before.
Exactly.
And we just leave them there for the Taliban to chew them up. Um, That's something that really blows my mind. That really frustrates me, and that's German
Yeah.
and American
Yeah. That's
because we
it's
sold them that dream,
Yep. And we weren't able to deliver.
right?
You know what I mean? Like, and
And
that's
now
the
we got
thing. Like, people already, we know it. I mean, being over here in Europe, America is not everybody's favorite. Like, I'm an
right.
American. I'm a proud American. We have a lot of friends that are proud Americans. But guess what? Outside of America, nobody likes you. Nobody likes us. That's how it is.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but at least
For the most
after the
part.
Trump years, specifically, people have grown to be very, I don't know. Let's put it like this.
They
Um,
tolerate us.
Gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like,
No.
America is like somebody's drunk uncle at a party that they're just waiting to see what kind of shit's gonna about to go down. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's going on. Um, and I don't know, man. The whole thing, like I said, like I don't have a whole lot of room to talk because I'm not military. I wasn't, but I see what I see, and I see like how it's affected my friends. Like, especially I have friends that served over there, and it's just like you could tell, man. Like, when all that went down, they're just kind of like, ah, like, like they lost part of themselves when all that happened,
Mhm. Yeah.
and that's not even our country. Imagine, like you said, we sold a dream to an entire country that we just said, you know what, we're done, and just walked away.
Yep.
It's disgusting, man. It to
Yeah.
me, it's really disgusting.
Yeah. We treated them like a towel in a hotel. We wiped our ass with them,
Yep,
and then we're like, well, this isn't that nice anyway. People steal towels from hotels because they think they're high quality towels, but that one right there, no, I'm not taking that one.
exactly.
Um, See, and
It's just a
yeah.
cum rag.
Hmm.
uh, well,
I like that
on
word,
that
cum
note,
rag.
uh, but it's I don't know, man. It's just interesting because I mean we're both kind of outsiders looking in on that aspect. I mean everybody is. Even for the people, yeah. If you served over there and you were over there, I get it, but it's been a number of years since you've been over there. A lot of things have changed, but you would think, like you said, like I really like that quote, how you said that. I really like that a lot because it's true. We were snake oil salesmen,
Yeah.
you know,
On a scale that's unimaginable.
unimaginable. I mean, you can't even put a dollar amount on it.
Yeah. And there's one thing that I heard in a Michael Moore documentary. I think it was Fahrenheit 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in the end, I think he says, like, we ought to be proud of our service men and women that elect to put their life on the line
Mm-hmm.
for um for reasons we don't understand sometimes, blah blah, what have you. But it's up to us to make sure that we only elect people who make them do it in situations where they absolutely have to.
Exactly. And that's true, man. That is absolutely true. At the end of the game, when you look at military, all it is it's chess. It's a game of chess.
Yeah.
That's all it is. You are somebody else's play piece. And God bless the people that do it voluntarily, man, because a lot of
Hmm.
countries, you don't have that option. I mean, up until a few years ago, what was it, like 6, maybe 10 years ago? Not even, less than 10 years ago. Germany, every single male had to do at least 2 years of military service, unless you had like some kind of other, um, educational obligation or something like that. You can negate that by doing your services somewhere else. And
Right.
you know,
I think it helped in a lot of ways.
what's
Not
that?
only, well, first of all, the people who got drafted that way, like some of them for the first time, they were away from home. Like it made you a little bit more self-sustainable.
Yeah.
It gave you a view about how other people live. Maybe not so much in the military, but if you do like community service in exchange.
Mm-hmm.
Like it used to be 2 years in the military, but then they I think knocked it down to 1.5, and community service was 2 years. They kept community service a little bit longer because they wanted to bait people to join the military.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, I did community service because joining the military would have involved an oath on the Constitution, and that would have waived my American citizenship, which I didn't feel like
Exactly.
giving up.
Yep.
Um, but for me, I learned so much in those years that I did that. I'm really very, very glad that I had to do it. And I think you can feel just with the way that people are right now, the way that like young people that just graduate from school, the way they view the world and everything, with this absolute lack of compassion. I think we could really use that again,
Yeah.
to
I
even make it
agree.
mandatory.
Yeah,
you
I
know
agree.
yeah.
It's like you said, you're introduced to different things. You see different things. Not only that,
Hmm.
you learn to see things differently. Like you are forced
Yeah.
to change your perspective on things. And I think that's something um, every young adult really needs because
Hmm.
it helps you. Because I mean, man, I've been here 11 years, and the way my kids go to school and stuff like that, and I talk to them about certain things, and it's here you look at the curriculum with even kids that are in abitur here, which is kind of like high school, and they go through like different things. We're not preparing our future.
No.
We're not. The educational system here is broke, and I have been very, very, very vocal about it here locally with like the schools with my children, um, and I just keep getting the same runaround. That's how it is here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever considered moving your family somewhere else?
Yes.
Not necessarily the States, but maybe Spain or something?
Um, we've actually talked about it a little bit. Um,
Okay, what was in the discussion? What was in the hunt?
London,
Hmm.
Italy. Uh, I wouldn't mind, like personally, I wouldn't mind Sweden or Norway,
Hmm.
just because those are more. I like how everything's based over. Like I like the run of everything over there. It's real nice. But London, the reason why is
Hmm.
because I applied to a thing. I had a job opportunity, but I turned down because it.
Oh no.
I did a lot of research, and the company was not what they presented themselves to be.
Okay.
And yeah, but Italy, I wouldn't mind. I love Italy. That's our usually go to if we're not going to the States. We're in Italy, so it's it'd be awesome. But it's the
Hmm.
only problem there is it's a poor. It's a very, very, very poor country. People don't realize that. Like, like you tell people back home, like, oh yeah, we're going to Italy. They're like, oh, hoity-toity. It's like, it's fucking Europe's Mexico. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's a fucking third world country.
I like that. I like the way you said it's Europe's Mexico.
But it's, you know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
but it's, I don't know. My oldest, she wants to go back to the States more than anything.
Hmm.
Um, the wife, she isn't 100% opposed to it. It just depends. Ohio is out of the question. So,
Why, if you guys like Italy, then why not go to Ohio?
yeah.
Speaking of poor countries.
That will be cut out of this week's podcast. No. Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing though. It's when you have, I think if you're raised over here, you don't know any better. Obviously, you don't know things. But the problem is, I was raised. And it's not really fair because I went to like Catholic schools and stuff like that growing up. So like I had a little bit better educational chances than others, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
My wife, where she went to school in Kazakhstan, it was kind of like the same system. Like they're just very meticulous. It's you are learning. They put you through the paces. Where here, like my kids today, I got a call that she called me at 10:20 this morning. Like, yo, where are you? I'm like, I'm at home. Well, yeah, you're supposed to pick us up. We're done with school. I said, you guys just left a couple hours ago. What the fuck do you mean you're done with school? I was like, are you sick or something? I was like, I want to talk to your teacher. And she's like, no, 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 dum dum. We're done. The whole school's done for the day. It blew my mind. It blew my mind. Like, and because I'm at work, so I don't really pay attention. I don't know that. And I'm sitting there looking at my kid, my youngest and my oldest school schedule. I think they have one day a week where they have 8 hours. The rest of it's like 3 hours, 4 hours. There's one day my daughter doesn't even have to go to school until 11:30. It
Oh, I used to love those days.
that doesn't exist in America.
Huh?
Like it blew my mind when we came over
Yeah.
here, and that's part of the reason why I think the whole system's broke, man, because they're not really doing a whole lot.
Well, yeah, yes and no. Um, on the other hand, you do have a little more abilities for teachers to be creative doing this. Um,
But they're not.
and well, I don't know. That might hold truth for your school or the kid or
Yeah,
the school that your kids go to. I mean, there's good schools and bad schools in
right.
Germany, obviously, also. So I
Yeah,
mean, it's really hard to say.
yeah.
Um, but overall, yeah, on one hand and on in one point I agree. Like you can't complain that you don't have enough time to educate people and then not keep them in school for at least half the day. I mean, I
Y-
understand that.
Yeah, that's the thing that blows my mind. They're like, oh, we're only doing with, we're doing the best we can with what we have, and it's like, well, you don't have enough. Make more. But
But that's not the school's responsibility because schools are like regulated by the state, and if they don't allocate enough money for like to employ like a set amount of teachers that you would need, then it's not necessarily the school's fault. But it is a system thing. I agree.
yep. Oh well, it is what it is, man. That's
That's our Dave quote of the day.
I can go on those rants all day. And for me, it's just, what can you do? Really, what can you do? We're here. These are the cards that we have to play with. We have to make the best hand out of it. And that's the thing that me and my wife keep talking about. But that's the thing. Like for her right now, the biggest thing is family. Um, her parents live with us. The rest of her family lives like in any direction you drive from my house. You drive not more than 10 minutes. You're gonna run in like within the radius of her family. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So that's for her. That's the hardest for her to give up. But at the same time, and I keep telling her, I'm like, yeah, but that's not fair because you have to realize you, we have your family. What about mine?
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, no matter how you look at it, it's always going to be unfair. So I
Right.
keep telling her, I'm like, we have to take that equation out of it. Let's make it as unfair as we possibly can for the both of us while putting, but I mean, yeah, that sounds kind of fucked up. And it's like, let's make it as unfair as we possibly can for the both of us. However, with the best intentions of our family in mind,
Hmm.
let's
Hmm.
build the best version of what we can be for us and
Hmm.
only us, you know? And I think it's starting to resonate a little bit. It sounds harsh and it's a little, it's a little unorthodox, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, I love my family, but at the same time, I love this family more, you know?
Yeah.
So
I
that's
think it
my
it
number one priority.
it makes sense 100% because like in one sense it will make the playing field very level again. Like
Exactly.
when it comes to certain decisions, because if you live with your in-laws, then maybe a lot of decisions are taken away from the fact that you're basically living in their house. You
No,
know,
yeah, no.
that
Well,
for
see,
one.
that's one thing I am happy and lucky about. It's no, no, no.
Okay,
It's this is my house, and that's how it is.
that's good.
Yeah. So we don't always see eye to eye, but at the end of the day, I just like in the middle of an argument, like with her dad or whatever, I just go, "Cool, man. Do you have your input? I took it into consideration, but at the end of the day, it's my name that's on everything here associated here. So good luck."
Okay, well that's good because a lot of people that I know, Americans that live with with their in-laws that happen to be not German, they have a lot of problems. I know two guys. One of them has a Turkish wife and a Turkish family that lives
Oh
very close
God.
by, and another person lives in his Russian wife's parents' house, and
Yeah.
they can't decide what pictures to put on the wall, man.
Yeah. Um, but I mean, you know what though, in all fairness and in reality, we do. I mean, we do have our battles, we do have our fights, but um, they do. We get along for the most part. You know what I mean? And I don't
Mhm.
try to be as big of a dick as I'm coming off as. Like I do tell like it at the end of the day, I'm still gonna do what I think is best for this house because you don't like it, leave. I don't care. But I still do try to keep it fair. For like major decisions, I get everybody together and it's like, hey, these are the options we have. This is what I'm thinking. Do you guys have do you guys want to provide any kind of input or feedback on what I want to do here? And
Mhm.
I do try to take it into consideration, but there's other times where I'm just like, no, that's dumb. We're not going to do that. You know what I mean? But there's also
Yeah.
times where I've been told it's like, that's dumb. Don't do that. And then like I'll think about it. It's like, okay, yeah. And it's kind of good. Like at the same time, I do try to maintain those checks and balances. And I think it's very crucial because I'm in a Russian, my wife is Russian, her parents are obviously Russian, and the Russians are very big on respect and all that kind of stuff. Like, the older people, they condone the most respect, they deserve it and stuff like that. And I try to do that without I try to maintain like the checks and balances where everybody knows their place, but at the same time, I'm not being disrespectful or overstepping any kind of boundaries, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
But at times, man, it's pretty hard. It can be very, very, very hard, and it takes a mental toll on you. But it's life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that's just how it is. Wow. We
So what are you doing? What?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to know, what are you doing this weekend?
This weekend I am working on a balcony here. Got a bunch of
Mhm.
stuff painted. I just have to put the slats back up and some yard work. Closing down the pool for the year. That's about it.
Man, you're always building something. So just so talented, man. It's like
Yeah,
I look up to people who can do that kind of stuff.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm one of those jack of all trades, master of none, I guess you could say. I have no choice. You know what I mean? Like I do have a construction background, thankfully, for because I always worked shit jobs. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, man, shit's expensive over here if you want to hire people. So it's like, nope, I'll figure it out and I do it myself.
Damn.
So it works out. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Definitely. But that's about it. We heard your weekend. Uh, that's awesome, man. Now, is this your first time doing the German Bowl?
Yes, absolutely. Um, I'm supposed to do English commentary. The way it looks
Where can you
is
find the English commentary?
it's on livestream.com.
Okay.
Shameless plug. Livestream.com slash GFL TV. You can find it. I'm also going to post it on my Facebook and my Instagram if I make it on time. If not, fuck the whole thing. Um, like I said, I have to work till like I don't know 1:30, and then I have to run down to Frankfurt, make sure I make it.
Holy
Which is only
shit.
possible. Yeah,
What time does the game start?
6.
Oh, man. And are you taking the
Yeah.
Tesla?
I, I might. I'm probably gonna have to. Well, the thing is, here's the thing. Here's my plan. Um, it's complicated.
Oh, man, you're going to cut it.
Um,
If you have to take the Tesla, you're going to have to stop and charge it the whole time.
See, that's the thing. That's one of the reasons why first I was reluctant to do the podcast today, because I'm still gonna have to charge it tonight, and I have to take that into consideration with my sleep plan, because I'm also getting up in about 6 hours. So, um, number one, I have to drive the Tesla to a charger and charge it. I have to put all my stuff that I'm gonna need, because I'm probably gonna spend at least 2 days back home, in the Tesla, which, if you live in Bremen, is basically suicide, because you have a 50-50 chance of your car getting broken into. That's
Jesus
number one.
Christ.
Um, then I'm thinking, like, if I have a certain time constraint, that if I don't get off until 12, I'm gonna go to the airport and rent a car. I'm gonna rent a diesel
Yeah.
that's fast, that I don't have to charge. Now, the only way that I have a chance of even making it is that I don't run into a traffic jam. Now, I know there's 3 construction sites on the way.
Yeah.
So that means I have a window between like 12 and 1 where it actually makes sense
Oh,
to take the
man,
car,
but
because it might work.
you know what though? At that point, how much are you going to pay in fuel as opposed to a ticket to Frankfurt?
A ticket in what?
Plane.
Okay, see, and here's the problem with the plane. I was gonna get to that. I was gonna get to that. Now, if I get off at 12 and that's safe,
Yeah.
or no, 11. I have to get off at 11, between 11 and 11:15. Then I need to know that in advance, of course, because then I can take a plane that leaves at 11 and ends up in Frankfurt at 12 o'clock. So it's absolutely no problem.
Yeah.
If I have to work till 1, I can drive to Hamburg, park my car there, and fly to Frankfurt from Hamburg, because here's the thing. If I miss that 11 a.m. flight, then I have no chance of getting to Frankfurt from Bremen before, which means I consider to drive to Hamburg to fly to Frankfurt. Hamburg is north of Bremen, for those who don't
Jesus
know.
Christ.
It's about 80 miles north of Bremen.
Oh, man.
So I have to drive north to fly south.
That's
Right?
crazy.
It is. It is.
So I take it your Audi's not fixed then.
It's not fixed, and that's the next thing. I just found out that putting in a new part,
Yeah.
it's the particle thing. It has to do with the combustion
Yeah, the
and the
Roos
way the
particle
filters.
filter. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Um, Now you can have that refurbished.
Yeah.
That'll cost about 700 ish.
Yeah.
And then you're good to go for about 300 Ks. Just replacing it would run me about €4,500, and that's the cheap one.
Dude, I think we need to talk off
I think we do.
podcast. Trust me. I know how to get that done way better.
Well, I already work with a Russian guy who's into motors. So if you can out Russian him,
The A6 in my driveway, we just redid the particle filter. I think we did it ourselves. In total, maybe €400.
what?
Yeah. Went to a junkyard. I
Damn.
cut it out myself with a sawzall, and then we did it out in the driveway.
Man, you're gonna have to. Hey, I'm gonna make you hillbilly my Audi.
Yeah, because then you can take like that. God damn, how long of a drive is that though from Bremen to Frankfurt? That's got to be what, 5-6 hours?
Well, yeah, 5 hours, 5.5 according to Google. I'd say 4 if I really gun it.
Yeah, but if that's if you're in a car that you don't have to charge every hour.
100%. Yeah.
That's
Otherwise, there's
crazy.
no gunning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, if
So I'm
you're
probably
not
gonna
gunning
set.
it, how long of a charge can you get if you don't gun it?
If I don't gun it, then I could probably make it with only one 15-minute charge if I go to the proper charger because not all chargers have that kind of
Yeah,
output.
you have to go to the actual Tesla supercharger, right?
No, no, there's a couple of them that actually have more output than the superchargers do.
Oh, really?
Um, that are included in my flat rate, which I think is pretty awesome. But the thing is, if you charge too early and your battery is still too full, then they don't hit it with the full capacity of the machine. So you have to charge if your battery as soon as your batteries run down enough so that you actually get a massive David be chuckling now, a massive load in within 15 minutes,
That's what she said.
right? Yeah, so you really have to edge your car so so that if you plug it up, you get this massive load in 15 minutes.
Dude, I've definitely I've definitely plugged and given massive loads in less than 15 minutes.
Dude, then I'm just gonna take you along and like about 100 Ks out of Frankfurt, I'm gonna make you fuck my car.
So, this is going to be the title of this week's podcast, Massive Loads.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
man.
so your car has to be properly edged for the charging station to blow a massive load into it. Um, so that also means that while you're driving, you're going to be on your phone. I know it's illegal, but you're going to be all on your phone in your app with the flat rate thing to find the proper charging station. Because, like I said, not all charging stations have the same output. So
You can't do that
yeah,
on the actual onboard on your car?
no, it it shows more chargers than only the Tesla superchargers. That's true, but the car doesn't know which chargers are included in my app, so I have to look at the app
Okay. You have
anyway.
to do. Okay. I get you.
Yeah,
I get you.
and also, it doesn't show every charger because I've blown by them. I've blown by them before because it didn't show up. It didn't come up on my Tesla screen,
Mm,
but the app shows them all.
that's crazy.
Yeah. It's messed up, man. Driving a Tesla gives you the same gratitude that you get from like maybe not aborting a potential special needs kid. It's like, oh, you're such a good human being for driving the Tesla. Oh, well, it takes a little longer and it can do almost everything, but hey, you're such a good person.
Eventually, it will get there.
Eventually you'll get there.
Oh, man. So, fuck me. So you paid over you paid 6 figures for a window
I
licker
did.
of the auto industry, right? Bravo, man. At least you're taking care of people. I love it.
I know.
You're doing your part, bud.
Yep. Like, oh man, my own mother roasted me today. She's like, you know what? Just sell it and get yourself a real car.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
You know what though? Like, I'm not gonna talk a whole lot of shit. Like, ah, the whole environmental thing, realistically, my kids, my grandkids, my great grandkids are probably never going to experience the effects of what's going down right now. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that. Um, and people are like, "Oh, you gotta be full electric. That's for it's for the environment." Okay, how are those batteries made? And what are you doing with them when they're done? And
Yeah.
that's my biggest thing that I always try to throw in people's faces. But don't get me wrong, I kind of want an all electric vehicle. Like I know I have a buddy back home that got the e-Hummer, bad as
Mm,
fuck.
I'm sure it is.
And I keep looking at Ford came out with an all electric F-150. They're calling it the Lightning.
Yeah, yeah.
And I keep looking at it and I keep telling the wife, I'm like, yo, you want to take my Honda and I'm going to get that? She's like, no, why would you do that? I'm like, it's actually not that expensive.
Yeah. They came out with an all electric Explorer too.
Did they really? Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
have
A
to
colleague
check
of mine
into
has
that.
it.
If
It
they
looks
come
pretty
out with
tough.
an all electric Expedition, then I'm on it. That's what I really
Okay.
want.
Well, they might because I know they're restructuring their sales concept for Europe. They only do electric cars
Mm-hmm.
anymore. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
But
cool.
that whole environmental thing, I've seen a lot of shooting stars recently. I really have. Like right now, the skies are full of them. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you want to do something romantic, then just like take your wife out and look at some shooting stars. Like every time I see a shooting star, I'm like, man, I hope they took care of their environment.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah,
'Cause it's
yeah.
coming, man. It's coming.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, man. Like you can't stop what's already in motion.
Yeah.
You know, people talk about global warming. Okay, tell that to the squirrels and animals that are in my yard right now. I've never seen a stockpile like this before.
Uh-huh.
So that means we're in for a very cold winter.
Oh yeah.
So how's global warming now, man? And I keep telling people that it's like, yeah, oh yeah, it's global warming. We gotta do something. I'm like, it's -30. Fuck you, you know.
Yeah.
But that's how it is. Uh, so we actually hit the sweet spot. We're actually over an hour, man.
Oh my God.
So, and I know you needed to do a short podcast, so I'm gonna just stop it now because you have a massive day tomorrow, man.
I
But
do, man.
thank you so much for doing this. It was for me, it was well worth it. Hopefully, it was for you. Um,
That's what she said. Yeah.
man, I feel like I'm on my honeymoon right now.
Dude, I enjoyed it. We should do
Just
we should do more solos like that.
yeah, definitely. It was great, man. So, anything
Yeah.
else you want to plug? So, plug that one more time for the German Bowl.
Yeah, that's tomorrow. I don't know when Bobby's gonna upload it, but
I'll
tomorrow,
have
which is
this will be up and live tomorrow morning by 8 or 9
okay,
o'clock.
well, tomorrow, which is October 9th, the German Bowl will take place in Frankfurt in the big stadium, not just some side stage where Eintracht Frankfurt also plays. You can watch it and stream it all over the world on livestream.com. I will be there together with the football encyclopedia. Tino von Eckhart looks like Ron Jeremy a little bit. Um, he's a nice guy. I hope he doesn't hear that. That just came out of my mouth.
I
No, he
can
looks
cut it
like
out if
Ron
you
Jeremy
want.
with no problem. Just leave it in. I don't care. He looks a little bit like Ron Jeremy if Ron Jeremy had health problems. Uh, but I like the guy. He's like he's a very good coach. He used to coach me also. He coached like the highest leagues, and he's a football encyclopedia, and I'm glad to be doing it with him. Um, and yeah, that's it for now. Oh yeah, next weekend I will be in Iserlohn with Dave's football team, the Titans. I will do that instead of doing the Gießen Golden Dragons on the the 16th. No, it's the 16th. Yeah, they play on the 16th. Gießen Golden Dragons are also playing on the 16th. Very interesting. They're playing for the advancement into the second league,
Mhm.
which is the second highest league in Germany. So that's a definite go-to game that I'd check out if the Titans hadn't booked me before. Um, yeah, and then after that, it's Hanover. The weekend after that, I am in Paderborn doing the relegation for Division Two, with the Paderborn Dolphins. So yeah, it's football everywhere, man. It's the season, man, in
That's cool,
Europe too.
man.
So check it out.
Definitely. Everybody check it out. Check out his Harry's podcast as well called Ball Time.
Yes, sir.
I see you guys just posted a new video.
Yes, with a legit NFL player,
Yes, for the kicker for the
Carolina Panthers,
Carolina Panthers. That's right.
Dominik Eberle, who happens to be German.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Um, damn, Harry, I love it, man. You're doing big things. I keep it up, man. You're an inspiration to all of us. Keep it up. It's always a great time talking with you. Thank you so much. And
Thanks, man. You too.
we will talk to you guys later. You know where to find us. Bye.